What about our spiritual freedom? Have we found it that which is worth fighting for, enduring for, persevering for? Is it worth the struggle? How the Spirit fills with 10-minute Torah, day 5 of the special week of Pesach readings. And we are in chapter 13 of Shemot, or Exodus, again today. Our final day of this. And we're going to begin with verse 17. And it came to be when Pharaoh had let the people go that Elohim did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, though that was nearer. For Elohim said, lest the people regret when they see fighting and return to Mitzrayim. So Elohim led the people around by the way of the wilderness of the Sea of Reeds, and the children of Israel went up in fives from the land of Mitzrayim. Moshe took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had certainly made the children of Israel swear, saying, Elohim shall certainly visit you, and you shall bring up my bones from here with you. So we continue to read a couple more verses. And they departed from Sukkot and encamped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness, and Yahweh went before them by day in a column of a cloud to lead the way, and by a column of night, and by night in a column of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. Freedom. Before we get into freedom, I normally save this to the end on Friday, and I look up at my timepiece here, my running clock, and realize I got 10 seconds or less. Before we get into today's thoughts, let me say Shabbat Shalom to you, and I don't want to squeeze this in. I am aware that many of you perhaps have congregations that you gather with, or at least a small home group or some family members that you can have a meal with. And for all of those of you that is your experience, I'm thrilled for you that you have someone. I know that we also have viewers of 10-minute Torah that are isolated. I think of some very precious people in other countries, Australia, for example, and maybe some in South Africa, and some in Canada. And I know that there may be others, perhaps in Belgium, that you're by yourself. And so you observe and you set the day apart to the best of your ability, and you're faithful. I want to stand up and cheer for you, applaud you, and I know that heaven does. Thank you for your faithfulness, not to me, but to the King, and that you welcome him regularly into your home and into your presence. May great be your reward before him. So however you are, however you're situated, whatever your gathering potential might be, may the blessed shalom and favor of the King, King Yeshua, abide with you on Shabbat and fill you with his light and with his joy. Now, into our reading here, it says that Pharaoh let the people go. But Pharaoh wasn't in charge of anything after he opened the doors. That was his last hurrah until the next chapter. He tries again. But at this moment, Yah immediately reinforces the fact, I've always been in charge. Pharaoh had nothing to do with this. I played him like a drum, and you're free. And so the people go out, and Yah is leading them miraculously with this column, a cloud by day, fire by night. And he chooses the route for them. In planning any vacation and in any long-term trip, we look at the map and we normally will choose one or two routes. Either the straightest possible route to save the most time, lest we be on the road too long, or we'll take it the adventurous route because we want to see this site and visit that location and visit this family member, and we'll kind of meander along and we'll kind of go out of the way for certain things. The straight line would have been right through the land of the Philistines. And even though it says that Israel went out in a column of fives, that's military formation, they were not ready to fight. You could have dressed them up in all of the armor and with all of the swords and spears and shields that Mitzrayim could have afforded them. These were not trained warriors. They may have been zealous. They may have been fervent in their desire to protect their families, but they were not skilled. They were not trained to fight together as an army. Yah, knowing that the warfare would cause them to lose heart and turn around and go back, led them by a more circuitous route intentionally. Longer, but more beneficial. Couple things here just to point out. One is, after our redemption, after we have been born again, and the euphoria, the exuberance, the emotional high of that event begins to subside just a little bit. We're still very cognizant of the change in our lives, and we can quickly be reminded. But it's that part that follows where old friends don't know what to do with you. Family members are confused by you. If they have not been praying for this all along, they don't know what to do. Your sudden change of values and lifestyle leaves people confused, and it can cost you relationships. It can cost you a job, perhaps. It can cost you a living situation. Those things may not be easy. Yah comes to our rescue. He situates us to where we engage in a route of His choosing, and He leads us, thankfully, into new people's lives, new relational situations, new surroundings, and so forth, and He helps us. For that, we should be very, very thankful. But the other part here, it says that they took Joseph's bones with them. Joseph's been dead for a few hundred years at this point. And maybe not everybody even remembers anything about Joseph. Pharaoh had forgotten about Joseph. We read that in chapter number 1. Joseph's bones are brought up and they're carrying him home. It is the house of Joseph. It is those tribes of Israel dispersed, displaced, scattered the world over for some 2,700 years now. It's as if, as Ezekiel saw in chapter 37, a valley full of dry bones, a scattered people who do not know how to operate and function as a group. They are disjointed. They are no cohesion among them. But it is the work of the breath of the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, that reassembles this house and reforms this army to march out in fives. Yah, in our day, oh Yah, may it be in our day. Yah will raise up a lost people. He is already doing so. That's part of why we're even here today together. To reassemble us, reformulate us, refashion us, and to bring up not just our bones, but our bodies, our beings out of captivity, wherever in this world we may be found, to lead us on the journey that by miraculous signs, wonders, and leadings to come back home. Oh, Yah, again, may that be in our day. Chag Sameach to you. Happy feasting and festival. May these days of unleavened bread, this Pesach season, have May it have reinvigorated you and encouraged you. And thank you for watching 10 Minute Torah. We'll see you again next week. Shabbat Shalom.